The person reading this sentence is not the same person who started reading it. And I'm not being poetic. Every cell in your body has a death sentence, and by the time you finish this video, thousands of them will have already been replaced. You feel like the same person you were 10 years ago. Same name, same memories, same regrets, same face in the mirror mostly. That feeling is so strong that most people never question it. But here's the thing, your brain doesn't want you to know. That feeling is an illusion. A useful one, sure, but an illusion. Biologically, you are not a person. You are a process. Think about that for a second. Your body is not a statue. It's a river. And every single cell in that river has an expiration date stamped on it the moment it's born. Your red blood cells live about 120 days, then they're destroyed and replaced. Your skin cells, about 2 to 4 weeks. Your stomach lining gets swapped out every 5 days because your own acid would digest you otherwise. Your liver regenerates. Your bones remodel themselves completely every decade. Even your heart cells, which you were told never change, turn over at a rate of about 1% per year by the time you're 25. Let me say that again. Your heart, the symbol of your unchanging self, slowly replaces itself piece by piece over your lifetime. So here's the uncomfortable question. If every part of you has been replaced, some of them many times over, what exactly is the you that feels continuous? In 2005, a Swedish neuroscientist named Jonas Frisén published a paper that changed how we think about human age. He wanted to know how old your body actually is, not in years since birth, but in the average age of your cells. So, his team used a clever method. They measured radioactive carbon-14 in human tissues. See, above-ground nuclear tests in the 1950s and 60s doubled the amount of carbon-14 in the atmosphere. That carbon got incorporated into every living thing. And because the levels have been dropping slowly since the Test Ban Treaty in 1963, scientists can measure how much carbon-14 is left in your cells to determine when they were born. What Frisén found was startling. The average age of cells in an adult human body is somewhere between 7 and 10 years old. Not your chronological age, your cellular age. Meaning the body you're sitting in right now has, on average, rebuilt itself completely within the last decade. Your 30-year-old body has been rebuilt 3 times since you were born, your 50-year-old body 5 times. But here's where it gets strange. Not all cells replace at the same rate. Your neurons, the cells in your brain that hold your memories, are among the few that mostly stay with you for life. Your tooth enamel never replaces. The lens of your eye, same cells from birth to death. So you're not a uniform river. You're a hybrid, a permanent structure with a constantly changing population living inside it. And that, right there, is the crack in the illusion. So how does this actually work? Every day, your body kills off about 50 to 70 billion cells. That's not a metaphor, that's a number. Apoptosis, programmed cell death, is happening inside you right now. Old cells commit suicide to make room for new ones. Meanwhile, your stem cells are dividing, producing replacements. You are simultaneously dying and being reborn every single day, at a scale that's almost impossible to visualize. There's an ancient paradox philosophers have argued about for over 2,000 years. It's called the Ship of Theseus. Here's the puzzle. Theseus has a ship. Over time, every plank rots and gets replaced. Eventually, no original plank remains. Is it still the same ship? Most people say yes, because the identity is in the pattern, not the wood. But here's the twist. What if someone saved all the original planks and reassembled them? Which one is the real Ship of Theseus? That's not a hypothetical. That's your body. The pattern has been running for decades. But the material has been swapped out so many times that almost nothing physical remains from your childhood. So when you look at a photo of yourself at 8 years old, are you looking at you? Or are you looking at someone who used to live in your body? Now, this is where most discussions stop. They say, well, you're still you because of your memories. But that answer falls apart under the slightest pressure, because your memories aren't stored in some magical permanent archive either. Every time you remember something, your brain literally reconstructs that memory from fragments. And in the process, it changes. Neurobiologists call this reconsolidation. Each retrieval is also a rewrite. The memory you have of your first day of school, you've probably rewritten it dozens of times. Details have shifted. Emotions have been added or subtracted. People you've told the story to have edited it without you noticing. By the time you're 40, that memory shares about as much material with the original experience as your body shares with the cells you were born with. So not only is your body a ship of Theseus, your mind is too. Which brings us to a deeply uncomfortable place. If your body replaces itself and your memories rewrite themselves, what's actually left? What's the thread? What makes you the same person as the child in that photograph? Philosophical implication. Here's what the science suggests. You are not a thing. You are a pattern that persists through time. Even as the material substrate changes, think of a flame. The fire you see isn't an object. It's a process. Molecules burn and fly away. New molecules arrive, but the shape of the flame stays stable. That's you. You're a flame. Beautiful, recognizable, continuous in form, but made of completely different stuff than you were a few years ago. This isn't just abstract philosophy. It has real consequences for how you live. When you feel guilty about something you did a decade ago, ask yourself, who exactly is feeling that guilt? The person who did the thing is gone. Every cell that was there has been replaced. The memory of the event has been rewritten dozens of times. The guilt you feel today is being experienced by someone who inherited a story, not someone who committed an act. I'm not saying you're off the hook for moral responsibility, but I am saying the continuity of self is much stranger and much more fragile than most people ever realize. The psychologist Daniel Kahneman once distinguished between the experiencing self and the remembering self. The experiencing self lives in the present moment. It feels heat and cold, hunger and joy. The remembering self builds the story of your life, selects what matters, and decides who you were. The experiencing self dies every few seconds. The remembering self is a novelist who rewrites the past constantly. Neither one is the real you, because there's no single real you. There's just the process. The flame. The ship that keeps sailing even as every plank is replaced. Open question. Remember that heart transplant patient I mentioned earlier? The one who started painting and craving beer and green peppers after surgery? Here's the part I didn't tell you. Studies on organ transplant recipients have documented hundreds of similar cases, personality changes, food preferences, even memories that don't belong to them. Scientists don't fully understand it. Some say it's psychological. Others wonder if cells carry information we haven't discovered yet. But here's the real question I want to leave you with. If a stranger's heart can change who you are, and your own cells replace themselves every 7 to 10 years, and your memories rewrite themselves every time you access them, then who exactly is making the choice to watch this video? Who's deciding what to eat for dinner? Who's going to bed tonight inside your body? And if you can't answer that with certainty, maybe that's not something to fear. Maybe that's the most honest answer science has ever given you.